So hello everyone, thank you for joining us for this meeting today. I will start by quickly introducing social trust and what we're doing, and then I'll let our guest speaker speak. Social trust is a local NGO based in Siem Reap. So here's the content summary. I will quickly introduce the social trust, then Leng and John from the Cambodian National Union team of rugby will speak, and Jean-Baptiste, our adaptive rugby coach, will also talk, and then the assistant will also introduce himself and present his work. So Social Trust, as you know, maybe is a local NGO based in Siem Reap, and our goal is to raise awareness around disability through sports. And to do so, we have different projects. As you can see, we have wheelchair basketball, as well as blind football, adaptive rugby, and also disability awareness classes. So today I'm going to focus more on rugby very quickly. So it's a common effort with Social Trust and as well as other partners that we have, and with also the national rugby team. We started it in March 2019, and the goal is to develop physical and the well-being of kids with disability through sports. So thank you. I'm gonna let you, John and Leng, talk and introduce yourself and do your presentation.
My name is Nuon. I'm a Secretary General of Cambodia Federation of Rugby. Before I was a student at PSE, you can say Puong Sri Dong Phong. I was a student in 1998, but I am the first player from PSE to get rugby with Philip Mona. And then, yes, I'm a world player, and then I play since 1998. Then I was player of national team player also. I have many experience around 20 years till now, 20 years for rugby. And now I'm responsible of Cambodia Federation of Rugby as Secretary General.
My name is Mojsa, and I've been working with CFR for around 2 years now. Well, when I say working, I mean volunteering with CFR. And I played rugby my whole life since I was 8 or 9 years old, and I really love rugby. I'm really passionate about growing it in Cambodia because I was at a place in my life when I was a kid. Didn't know everyone wanted to play football, tennis. I didn't have much confidence, and rugby gave me a pathway. It was something that, for whatever reason, I was naturally pretty good at as soon as I picked up the ball, and it helped me grow my confidence, my self-esteem. It helped me meet new friends. It gave me a social life, and it made me have transferable skills from the rugby field onto like my education. And as I started getting older, I got into semi-professional teams, national teams, professional teams, and that helped me kind of get to where I was as a young adult. And then, unfortunately, life took over, started a business, and I stopped playing for a few years until I started traveling and came to Cambodia. So I took a 2-year break from playing rugby, and I came to Cambodia, and it was a random, I think, Friday or Saturday afternoon. I felt like playing rugby and messaged the CFR Facebook page, and Leng was on the other side and said, "We have a competition tomorrow. Do you want to come and play?" So I came and joined that tournament, and then slowly but surely got more and more involved with the federation, and now I'm doing the development manager role and really helping Leng move the federation forward, and really excited to work with you guys at Social Trust and get the kids and the adaptive rugby into Cambodia.
So maybe you can talk a bit more about the federation itself.
But so I wanted to start with this picture because I think this is a really inspirational picture. This is a national team in 2016 in Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia, when the national team got the chance to go and play at the SEA Games. And the SEA Games happens, I think, every 4 years or every 2 years. And the next one is in Vietnam, and the one after that in 2023 is in Phnom Penh. And all of the players that you can see in the picture actually went to, they started playing rugby as a child, were at NGOs like PSE, Sisawat School in Phnom Penh, and they had the chance with CFR, the Federation of Rugby, to grow themselves, improve themselves, and then finally get to play on a huge stage like this, so a stadium in front of 50,000 people, because they stuck and stuck to rugby. And it's been able to give them a pathway to progression, like jobs, education, and really positive things like that. So I want to start the presentation with anyone who's watching this. Like, rugby has a really good pathway to progression if you stick with it and work hard. Cool. So our main sole purpose is growing rugby in Cambodia. Like that is what we're here for. We work with the National Olympic Committee, the Ministry of Education, and our kind of main goal is to work with people like Social Trust who are doing amazing things in the community, and have children who you know, maybe don't always fit in certain factors of life, but rugby gives them that pathway to have a family and have a home. And like I said, that's exactly what happened with me, and that's why we're also passionate about this. So yeah, like I said, we're partnered with the Olympic Committee, Ministry of Education, Youth and Sport, and as of this year, we are partnering up with Child Fund Pass It Back program, which is a World Rugby organization, which helps come into countries like Cambodia and really grow the tag sport of rugby. So that's something we're gonna roll into this year, and hopefully in the next few days we're gonna have some more exciting news, but we can't just say it yet. So this is a brief part of our history. So it was established maybe Leng can say this actually. Leng, you can speak about the history of CFR because you've been here much longer than I have.
Sorry again, please. I cannot hear it.
Yeah, so can you just let the people on the webinar know the history of Cambodia Federation of Rugby, like from 2001 up until now, like some of the key things that happened.
Rugby in Cambodia from 2001 it's Philip and Madame Thmey. She's a president, and on that year we have many clubs, many partnership work with us, and we have been play with in Asian Foundation, HSBC Asian Foundation, and Mekong Cup against Laos. We play 4 times per month. We have competition 4 times per month on that time, 2001. And then for 2016, we have domestic competition also. But on that time, we did many competition because we have suspend already from 2015, I think, from Azerobi because of our internal problem. But till now, we have, as John have been said before, we have joined SEA Games for the national team at Kuala Lumpur 2017 and 2019.
Awesome. So that's our history. I mean, the other things of this is it's quite boring. It's like data-driven things, but it might just give a bit of indication of like the things that we're aiming to do. So recently we had Ben van Ruwen come from Asia and World Rugby to Phnom Penh, who did he helped 20 of our players get their World Rugby Level 1 certificate, and the goal next is to get more referees, more first aiders for females and males. So we have statistics that we want to get a certain amount of active participants up to, and that is we're aiming for 50% males and 50% females, because that for us is really important. Like, this is a game that is for everybody to play, and there's so many different variations of rugby that, you know, this shouldn't just be for men, it shouldn't just be for females. We want it 50% as much as we possibly can. Obviously it's a hard thing to do, but it's what we're aiming to do. So yeah, our primary goal as the federation is to have a strong national team. We find in all the other federations in Asia, if their national team is good and it's successful, then that helps the rest of the country want to actually play the sport, because that's important. People actually want to play the sport. So that's our main goal, is to get a really strong national team. But what we understand is that only happens if the grassroots game, the youth game, is strong too. So the other side of our focus is to work with people like Social Trust, like your organization, to get kids wanting to play rugby when they're aged 8 or 9 years old. So by the time that they're 19, 20, they've already played for 10 years. And they've got a vast wealth of experience, and it means that they can compete with other countries like Thailand, Singapore, who are currently the best type of teams. So they're like our 2 main goals, is have a really strong national team And like, I would say that is like the tree, but we also want to have strong roots and a strong foundation, which is the youth side of things, because we want it to work from the bottom to the top. So there's a few pictures here, a few little stats here. So what we found as well is with a lot of other countries, the more people that are wanting to play rugby, the more people that actually do play rugby, it gives a much wider pool for us to pick from and have bigger competitions and bigger seminars to do. And that's one of our other big goals for this year, is not to just have competitions where people come and play, but also for children to come and just learn more about certain aspects of rugby, whether that be how to pass the ball, whether it be refereeing. Participation is key, and to do that officially and with high standards is one of our key components. Yeah, so these are some of our participation goals. So we want to get from 220 participants, and when we say participants, that's people who regularly show up. So we probably have like another 100 to 200 participants who sometimes come, sometimes don't. But that is not a really good statistic to go by. So 220 people who come to pretty much every competition we game. We do that across all boards, under 13s, under 15s, under 18s, male, female, and then obviously the adaptive rugby side of things is really, really important to us too, because rugby should be for everyone to play, and it's just, it really is important to us. And that is our goals. And that is pretty much, so that's pretty much it. I don't know if this stuff is super important, but we want people to play rugby, but also we find that they like the idea of rugby, but maybe they don't like the physical side. So they want to play tag rugby. Or maybe they don't like the tag rugby side of things and they want to do more of a technical aspect. Maybe they want to be a referee. Maybe they want to do first aid. Maybe they want to be linesmen or women. So as part of our capacity building, we're going to look to bring in seminars where we can teach people to be referees, or commentators, or the admin of the data side of things. We're looking at now that we're starting to grow the federation. There's going to be a lot of jobs that come up, a lot of tasks that need doing, like PowerPoint presentations, admin, financial, data side of things, and that's a good opportunity for the kids who are maybe about to leave school and look for a job. So there's lots of cool things happening, and that's pretty much it. We're open to Q&As, any questions. I don't know if there's anything more that you want to add, Leng.
Thank you. The Q&A we will do once everyone has introduced themselves and did it. But thank you very much. So Jean-Baptiste, maybe you can introduce yourself now and talk about your experience with Krousar Thmey and adaptive rugby as a whole.
Yes. Like I started rugby very young and a long time ago. Now I was 10 years old and I'm 58 now, so it's a long time. I never stopped to play, and I was lucky enough to be there when the federation started with Philippe Monin, and play with all the kids from PSE and Sisovat high school. And then in 2003, I went to 2002. I went to open the center in Siem Reap and built a team there. Just to complete what said Leng, that before until 2005, we used to play a 7-a-side, and we turned to 15-a-side to participate to the Asian 5. And during this time, our first game in 15-a-side was in 2005 in Hong Kong against Macau. Very good match, very good game. And then we still keep in 2008, if I remember well, 8 or 9, Leng. You don't remember when we won the Encore International, Encore 10 International Tournament in Phnom Penh? And then I'm back to Siem Reap in 2010, and still do rugby, but then as Leng said, we had to stop it was very complicated to move from one part to other part of the country and to bring everybody, because all the young guy was now working, and it was not easy to be free every Sunday. And then in 2017, if I remember, we start with with social trust, the rugby.
Yes, exactly, yeah.
It was
Started
very
in
good.
17,
Yeah.
And 2 years, in 1 year ago, you started to coach children with speech and hearing impairment. Maybe you can tell us about how it is different to coach those children compared to people with no disability. How did you find the difference between those two?
Yeah, first we start with children from NGO and from international school, French school, and then was a great time, but because rugby is a social game, and you learn a lot, team spirit, everything. But then in 2018, we decided to start with mute and deaf people, and it was a different, very different case, but very interesting. At the beginning, they didn't understand, and they just we went to show them some game on video with the All Blacks, with the mini international team, and they were very interesting on it, and especially the girls. But then when we asked, the manager didn't understand, and they select only boys, and he was a little bit sad. But luckily, during the training, when girls were there, I told them, okay, come, and then finally was we get a lot of girls, and it was very interesting to do. So the main point, difficulties, is that they don't hear. So when you train, or when you play, you have to be on the field, and when you train, you have to do the exercise with them to show them exactly what you want. And at this topic, I want to add that luckily they have a very, very, very good teacher and involved, and with a lot of commitment. They can every training, they play, they translate, they very good. Was a very good teaching people, and it's a big pleasure to work with them. They are very involved, and luckily they are here, because even if you do exercise with a kid, it's not always easy to make them understand why we do this and what is the goal. And so it's a little bit difficult, especially when you start to be old like me. You have to do all the exercise and better than them. If you want them running, you have to run faster. If you stop to run, they walk. If you walk, they stop. If you stop, they leave. So you have to be far away at the top and show them what to do. And then the training as a game, we have to adapt, because they don't hear. And so you have to have one referee field and a touchline referee, but also you have to have at least 1 or 2 guys on the field to show them. Right. To make sign, to say, okay, arbitre sifflet already, you have to stop to play by sign, or make them understand before the game starts. We have a meeting with the other team and all team and other team to make them understand that sometimes they will still play when the referee stop, but because they don't hear. So just be kind. tape on their shoulder and make the sign like this, they will understand. And what was great that all the players, whatever the age, follow the instruction and play with a lot of fair play. Sometimes was difficult because they get hurt. They stop to play and then the minute and death just hit them because they didn't hear but they take it very with a lot of fair play and understanding about this. I think we are thinking about this. I think for the future, we'll install the new rules with people with a different color flag in their hand on the field and follow green, go, red, stop, like a little bit like in tennis, football, American football. People with their through and everybody stop. Maybe that will be a solution to have guys like this in all corner and of the field with a different color of flag to let them know if they can play or they can stop if it is a different color, if it is a penalty or a scrum. And like this, it will be much easier because until now what we do, we run on the field with them and make them understand and follow, but because they are studying, it's not easy. But and the only very good thing also is that even during the training, they train with let's say, we'll say normal kids if mutantis are not normal because they are not on the norms, they cannot hear, but they play together and then it's a lot of very nice because this guy, we have to know that here they are in a special school and during the 2 first years they cannot go out. They have to learn and not go out. But then here it's an opening on the outside and they make a lot of friends together and communicate after by writing together and make people contact together and this is a great pleasure about this, yes.
Great. Thank you, Jean-Baptiste, for sharing your experience. Maybe Leak, you can add on that and introduce yourself and explain your role as well.
Okay. Yes, so good afternoon all. Yes, and the first I would like to thank you Social Trust. And so, especially Quentin, who always prepare something to work with a student. And one more thank to teacher Jean-Baptiste, yes, for everything who with our children. So my name is Nuon and I am a teacher, one of the teacher for the deaf in Krousar Thmey Siem Reap. And I'm here since 2012 and I'm teaching them for high school students with mathematics and science. Yeah. And in school we start every Monday to Fridays and 7 to 5 in the morning, 7 to 11 in the morning. Yes, and we have lunch together at school. And in the evening we start from 1 to 5. So the student learn too much full time a day. And behind this studying, they can play something like in the evening from 5. They can play football or volleyball. And this year we have we have a new activity from Social Trust, and with teacher we have rugby training that we do every weekend. And the training I translate from the teacher say what to do, something about rule of game, something else. But our student is hard to play, hard to train. Yes, because they all can hear. So in many more speech, they can understand well. But we try to make a sign language, natural sign, by replay again and again to make them understand very well. So they can learn a little bit from one day to day, and they can know much more. Before, we never know about rugby. Even I don't know too. So this we can make a new experience with rugby. Yeah, and for the student, they can get new friendship with hearing student from another organization like Angeli, yes, like Sunrise. They are hearing, but they can communicate with them well. By some students or some children, they can make sign, natural sign, or some students they can write, or they can do anything to try to communicate with them. So they can get more friends with hearing students. And for more, they can get a teamwork with, before we just learn with only the deaf, and after we can work with hearing in another group. So it's a good one for the children to share experience with the hearing and their friendship. And one more thing, they can make a good health and relax from their study. They can take exercise for their healthy. So I think it's very good for our student who get a new experience. And I think it's really hard for the teacher because they not like normal student, normal children. Yes, because they need to learn again and again, and the teacher need to speak again and again too. So very thank to teacher for my student. Okay, so the last one, I would like to thank you again for prepare this training for our children. Thank you.
Leak. Thank you.
Okay, yeah.
Thank you. So now we can insert, we have a few.
Because Leak is very humble. It's not only translation, he's playing. He's play and do the training also with a lot of commitment. And one more thing about the kids from Krousar Thmey, that the difference with the other ones, that they have to go on. Even they are tired, just still do it and try to do. And I can make you with a lot of difference if you compare, for example, with the French school, or the people that just you have always to push them to tell them, okay, listen, do what I ask. I am tired, titi, okay, but run, because when you have a game, you have to play more than 1 hour, and if you don't do, you cannot. With them, no, with them, they have a lot of commitment in it, and it's a big pleasure. But it is related to their teacher.
That's true. Very well said. I think we only have like 5 minutes left, so we can start some questions, and once it's cutting, I will send you the question we have and we can publish it online. So one of the questions that we have is for you, Jean-Baptiste, John, and Leng as well. How popular is rugby in Cambodia, and how can you make it even more accessible to more people in Cambodia? That's one of the questions of our viewers.
If I can start, I think there's a lot of rugby. You have to have the fighting spirit, and the Khmer people have this fight spirit, and they are good in it. The only thing many who stop the growing is that financially it's difficult to find sponsor. I remember when we went to Hong Kong, I say, why you don't find a small sponsor, 2-3 small sponsors, they $10,000 each, and like this you can travel. Yes, but us at this time, the big sponsor was Total and 2,000 per year. So we are not in the same level. And second is that the employee, I remember, and Leng Noun, but a lot of the kids or the young guys playing was student, okay, student easy, but when they start to play for adult, many of their boss said, okay, call them, say, oh, you have to work tomorrow. But no, I have the right to go, but if you get any injury, you are fired, and we cannot propose anything else. So it's to develop maybe about insurance, to develop about.
Yep, I would agree. Like the hardest thing with growing any sport in any country is the financials. Like if there's no money there, it's really hard to have the right resources and high quality people to actually teach it correctly, and especially with rugby, which can be such a dangerous sport. It has to be done correctly. So yeah, finances is a big thing, and obviously, especially in Cambodia, when kids get to age 16 or 17, they have to start thinking about work, and that's when usually rugby players are at the prime. That's when, you know, in England, Australia, Europe, when players get to age 16 and 17, that's when they get their first professional contracts, or it's when they can choose that they're not going to be professional, so they can get a part-time job and still play rugby. But in you know, Southeast Asia, that's not as it doesn't really work like that. So it has to come from sponsors and donations and things like that. But that's something that we're working on, and as we work more closely with Asia Rugby and World Rugby, that they're going to help us with sponsorships and funds. So that's in the pipeline. The other thing is, you know, the social stigma, especially, you know, in Cambodia, it's no secret there's a divide between male and females, and you know, rugby, because it's a physical sport, a lot of parents are not going to want, you know, their young female child to go and be wrestling on a muddy field. And that's one of the big reasons why we're partnering with Child Fund Pass It Back, because we want to teach the tag rugby side of things, where it's not as dangerous. It's more about technicalities, and you just have to rip a little like Velcro tag off. So it is open to everybody. And the second thing is, because football's so big and people want to be a football player or maybe a Khmer boxer or one of the more famous sports, there isn't that hunger or desire to play rugby. So the other thing that we're going to be doing is partnering with Child Fund, is teaching some kind of free education with it. So whether it's English or social skills out in the provinces, where, you know, there's not as many opportunities as there is in Phnom Penh, they might get taught, you know, an hour and a half of English free, and then get taught an hour and a half of rugby free. So it might be that they just want the English, but actually they fall in love with the rugby as like a second level of it. And I think that's going to open up the doors to, you know, a lot of people who wouldn't see rugby because, you know, they're either not in Phnom Penh or they just don't know about it. So the goal is to get as many rugby.
Okay, I'm agree with you both, John and Jibe. For my experience, I have been playing a long time in Cambodia, but for me, I think the more popular can be, and we can introduce rugby to the NGO or private school, or we can do grassroots. And also, as we know already in Cambodia, the rugby or player rugby, it's long time till now. We have many players from kids, women, and adults. Almost of them I never seen someone who reached the player of rugby already poor people, because they did not know well about the rugby, how to play rugby. That's why their parents very afraid. They always see the rugby game in the video, YouTube or TV. They said the rugby is dangerous because they did not know yet about how to play. Like John said, at the moment we make a MOU with Child Fund Pacific, we can play tag rugby, and then we can bring this tag rugby to our community and NGOs and other private, because when the parent they know, they only see the YouTube or TV, they see it dangerous. That's why they cannot allow their kid to play rugby. So I mean, but normally we can use one more thing, that now we are working with our Olympic and military education and sport. They will provide us and as insurance. That's why our policy for Cambodia Federation, we try to make the insurance for all the players in Cambodia. And we try to connect the people and connect the other school and NGO to talk about it and introduce them about the rugby well. This is my idea.
Great. Thank you very much. I think we're running out of time, unfortunately. So everyone, thank you for joining us and listening to this presentation and everything. I will send you to the guest speaker, I will send you the other question that we have so you can answer it by writing, and we will publish it online on our website or on Facebook. So once again, thank you very much for taking the time, and see you around. Thanks again. Thank you.
Thank you.
One thing, thank you for Social Trust to let me restart rugby and help and propose to restart rugby in Siem Reap. That's many years we stopped, and it was a good pleasure to do it, and we have more than 70 kids now playing. Thank you, Krousar Thmey, about this, and other one. Thanks a lot.
Thank you very much, everyone. See you. Thank you. Goodbye.